With Bob playing leader, the boys begin to break the locks of cabinets that contain materials belonging to other groups.
I'll show you how to pick them locks. So do that. I know. That's the way that I was supposed to do it. Use this. Watch out, watch out. What's that for? Who's gonna help me make that picture? Yeah, come on! Maybe we could use a few paintbrushes. Hey, yeah! No one? Yeah, we could use that one thing. Let's do mine. Hey, I'll tell you what they got in their cabinet. Yeah, that's it. Get the oven. Get the fight water here. Hey, look. Not the fight, that one, eh? Sugar people.
All the locks broken, the boys ransack the cupboards. The objects the boys are throwing, chewing, and trampling on are lumps of sugar they found in one of the cabinets. All this time, the therapist does not interfere, but keeps careful watch against the danger of injury to the boys. However, having become convinced that the excitement will not abate by itself, the therapist has decided this is one case where he must tell the children to go home.
But I got the best thing of all. You die. And the sugar, do it later. No. I got enough. Give it a minute.
The destructiveness we have witnessed is a natural phase in the development of the group, a part of the therapeutic process. If the group is properly balanced, such behavior should disappear in later sessions. But the degree of destructiveness in this case makes us suspect that this group is not properly balanced and some changes will have to be made. Regularly, supervision conferences are held to discuss both group dynamics and the development of each child. At this conference, the group balance is analyzed. It's decided to remove Robert, who is the real focus of infection, and replace him with Jack, age 10, brilliant but extremely withdrawn and effeminate. Diagnosis: compulsive neurosis. One of his idiosyncrasies is that he spends hours drawing maps of the city transportation system. Henry's favorite occupation for some weeks has been playing table tennis with a therapist. The therapist's support and Henry's testing of the reality of group living have diminished his fears. Henry is now also able to share the game with another boy. Despite his original terror of children, he now accepts quite freely direct physical contact. But the gleeful manner in which he expresses his joy reveals his basic infantile character. Henry and Morton now turn to playing tag. Henry is free and spontaneous, so different from the Henry we knew at the first session. The boys do not seem annoyed by all this, again demonstrating the group's tolerance. Bob stays close to the therapist because his disturbing actions in recent sessions brought the wrath of the group upon him. Being afraid, he seeks the therapist's support. He has also brought a friend, the boy at the vise, for additional security. Albert's oscillatory movement behind the new, effeminate boy, Jack, and his use of the ruler is significant in view of the original problems for which he was referred. Despite the therapist's efforts to withdraw from the group's activities, the boys repeatedly involve him. At this stage, this can be interpreted as positive transference rather than mere dependence. Again, we see Henry make a social contact with relative ease, and with a stranger.
Now what's this? What's called?
The boys now take responsibility for cooking the Frankfurters and setting the stage for refreshments, a task previously carried out by the therapist. The assurance and promptness with which they enter into the activity reveal their security and growth. The therapist deliberately remains apart from the group.
I'm next. Foreman's next.
Henry has made a list of the boys present and checks off their names as he serves them.
Yeah, that's right. Just like he's doing anyone else. You don't like the rules? No. Okay then, off the table. I'm gonna take the bus out of my house from there. Wait, go. I don't know where the other state I'm in. I can walk there blindfolded.
What's the number on it? What?
Look.
Here?
What kind of we need?
A great deal of conversation enlivens the refreshment table. Among other things, the boys, on their own initiative, plan a trip.
We all got to be there Saturday at 10 o'clock. Where? The Yankee Stadium? Gate 16. Gate 11. Gate 11. That's the bleachers. Yeah, and that's where when you go to the PIL, that's where all the PIL. So we'll meet at gate 11. So we'll wait at that pole in front of gate 11. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Neither do I.
Let's go to our house.
Albert now cuts wood and is less effeminate. It is significant also that Albert, for the first time, has taken to wearing dungarees.
Find
a hook. And I need a hook. This is
Bob, the third boy from the left, is no longer distractible. He concentrates on the job at hand. For a time he was afraid of the others, but is now free and spontaneous with them. As Albert comes forward, we note his more vigorous bearing and manner. As he helps another boy, he further demonstrates his growing power and self-assurance.
But his father got a big one. His father got a big one, I mean. Yeah, he got a $100 printing press in the house. Found you. Bring some that But it is. Try it. Try it. Do it on one of them. Try it. Come on. Try it. Oh, you want to see something big print? Yeah. I want to see if it printed.
As for Henry, he now cooperates with Morton, setting type on a printing project. The therapist's neutral role does not vary. If anything, he withdraws even more from the group. Jack starts a fire with the electric plate used for cooking. Rather than forbid this interest, the therapist has previously placed an asbestos pad under the electric plate for safety. After a while, Bob and Henry join in. For Henry, this is a desirable development.
Hey, where's the water? Get water! Sandpaper! Put that thing on. Man, you saw it. You want me to get that in? Just see, put it.
The therapist remains watchful and ready to intervene, but only if absolutely necessary.
Yeah. It doesn't burn, but look at that thing.
Soon the boys, on their own, take steps to prevent the fire from spreading. One boy rakes the fire onto the asbestos pad. Another pulls out the electric plug.
You're stupid getting up plug. Boy, when you put that thing away.
Albert is now able to stand up against Bob, the most aggressive boy.
No, drop it in this box.
Why? No, before you... This is what I...
Look at him. Huh? No. Look at him.
Later in the session, Henry also has the courage to challenge Bob.
Clear out hand.
You want to go? You want to leave that here till next week?
Despite the interference, Bob continues to concentrate on his work.
Everybody quiet! Order in court. First, Marika, Morty, about the trip. Yeah, I speak now. Morty, when can we go to second, third, all that is, all that are in favor of steeplechase, raise their hands. All right.
At the start of the refreshment period, the boys again plan a trip on their own. And for the first time, take a vote to decide where to go.
In the zoo, you got. I'm gonna go down the rocket roller coaster. No, I want to go on that plane there. You know that they take you up and stand up there in 5 minutes. I was sitting there when I was only around 4.
You were shitting there.
They leave you up here. I don't want. Hey, Matt. Hey, say, I could do that.
No bending spoons. No bending someone else's property. I want to leave mine.
What did you say? It's easy to bend. You just use your hand. Oh, there I in the cell I sit with my fingers dipped in. No. With my fingers.
For the first time, a number of the children use profanity.
No. When the people pass by, they throw. I know.
Mine is stay to the
Mayonnaise? Mayonnaise.
Shut the door. I'm
Yes.
Get it?
What? You know why the tomato face turned red? Because he was putting in the icebox for the mayonnaise dressing. Why don't we let him today empty? He wanted to see ceiling flag. Why the hell am I throw a hunk of butter out of the window? He wanted to see butter drop. He wanted to see the price drop. Butterfly. Yeah. Why did the morning jump off the big Woolworth building? She wanted up a wall. Because he wanted to make a big hit on Broadway. Woolworth building is located on Broadway. 34th Street. That's right, the big Woolworth. 34th Street and Broadway. Sounds hollow.
Refreshments were delayed to test the boys' frustration tolerance, but they were not disturbed by the delay.
Next time you come get snow, will you? What? You know, snow. This man lived on onions for 2 long weeks. What's snow with you? What's snow? What's snow with you?
Ah, that's a joke.
Hey! Hurry! Stop!
Why do watermelons have so much water in them?
Will you stop yelling? What?
They're planted in the spring.
What? Now look, I'm gonna tell you this. This guy loves onions. I don't know if I said it or not. It's kind of dirty. This guy loves...
shut up and eat them.
Okay. This guy loved onions. Well, he told us what... Let me hear it. If it's dirty, I'll wash it now.
Bob decides to tell a profane joke in the presence of the therapist.
Took the barley out of
This is the
What do you have
ultimate
left?
test to which children submit a
What'll
therapist.
happen if you... What would you have left if you took the farmer?
It is this consistent acceptance of all types of self-expression by the children that lies at the core of the therapeutic process in activity group therapy.
I get it, but would you see if there's any soap down there? Yeah, it's good. So don't let him get out.
I don't get it. I
get it, but I don't know.
Bob went a little too far, and the boys decide to wash his mouth with soap.
Hey,
I would imagine the fuse goes down.
The boys strike a bargain. If Bob will bring firecrackers to the next session, they'll let him off without the oral cleansing.
Yeah. You get those or you get the
Then the long 1-inch firecrackers.
2-inch ones.